Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dads on the Rocks podcast. My name is Freddie Moss. This is the Dad's Day Off version of the Dads on the Rocks podcast for July 2021. Today, I'm going to be talking about the movie Fatherhood, starring Kevin Hart, that recently came out on Netflix. But before we get to all that, a couple of things I want to get out of the way. If you haven't already, please go and like and follow us on our Facebook page. We are now on Instagram, and please go and follow us there. I may not post the same content to both pages, so go and follow both so you can get everything. Today I am drinking, more importantly, what I'm drinking from is my brand new Dads on the Rocks glass, which I posted about on, I think, the Facebook page, courtesy of my friend Tara Pence. Thank you again, Tara. That's really awesome. Thank you, Tara. But what I am drinking today is Maker's Mark. I threw it in the fridge, trying to drink it cold so I can have it neat, at the suggestion of Andre from the July edition of the show. Still don't like it. I had to throw an ice cube in there. So sorry, Andre. I tried, but didn't work. But anyway, here's to you guys. Cheers. Real quick before I get into the actual show today, I made a couple decisions for the show itself. I realized that I do not like talking by myself anymore. It's not as fun as when I have a guest for me. And this whole thing, I don't do this for money. I just do this for fun. This is not for revenue. I actually pay to have the show out there. I pay to have this equipment. But what I enjoy doing is talking to other dads, other parents, about parenthood. And, you know, to be honest, not just parenthood, but everything. I really enjoy doing this, and I don't like doing it by myself. Right now I'm doing it by myself, but it's not nearly as fun as when I'm talking to somebody and having a conversation. I feel like it's boring to me. I feel like it's boring to the viewers. So what I've decided to do is do away with the Dad's Day Off version for the most part. What I'm going to do is have 2 shows a month, because I really do like recording. I don't want it to be just once a month. I want to do 2 shows a month and have the actual show, have it be more of the same thing every time. So on the 1st of the month and on the 15th of the month, I'm going to release the same show. It's going to be a guest for the 1st of the month and the 15th of the month. So it's going to be a different guest. So number 1, I would like to put the call out there for everybody. If you want to be on the show, I already have a big long list of people that have already shown interest or that I've reached out to. So I've got content for, a while. So don't worry about that. But if you would like to be on the show, if you feel like you know somebody that might want to be on the show, shoot me an email, dadsontherockspodcast@gmail.com. If you're listening to this right now, you probably already have my phone number. So shoot me a text and say, hey, I want to be on the show. So that's that. I'm not going to entirely do away with the Dad's Day Off episodes. I still have a couple things that I want to do already, where it's just me talking or just me and somebody else talking about something not relating to parenthood. Andre and I, we talked about doing a Boy Meets World episode, and I have another thing. There's a book that I really wanted to do a show about. I'm not going to completely do away with it, but I think that's going to be more of a when the need arises, or when I feel like talking about something, outside of the normal spectrum of the show, I'll save that for when the time comes. In a previous Dad's Day Off, I talked about maybe doing a 3rd show for the month where we talk about movies and stuff. I'm doing away with a 3rd show, but the whole premise of if you want to talk about a movie or do something like that, that's still game for the Dad's Day Off. So when the need arises, I'll save that for the Dad's Day Off. But that's what the show is going to be going forward for now. I'm still playing with the idea, and maybe if that gets too much, I'll change it. I don't know. But so far, that I think is going to be the best recipe for success for me and for my happiness. Because what's most important? My happiness. Cheers to that. So anyway, I wanted to get into the movie that I recently watched called Fatherhood on Netflix. If you have Netflix, it's available in streaming now. It is based on a true story where first-time parents have a child, and unfortunately the mother passes away shortly after the birth, and the dad is left to figure everything out for himself. As I was watching it, the mother was okay, at the C-section, and she was good. And then when she went to go and get up for the first time, so it was probably a day or two after the C-section, and she went to go get up for the first time, and everything went wrong. She had like a blood clot or something like that went to her heart or her lungs, and she passed away, which was very, very sad. I do want to mention that I do not like Kevin Hart as a comedian or as an actor traditionally. He's just not my cup of tea. And again, nothing against the guy. He's just, I don't prefer his style of comedy. But this was a little different. He was legit acting and doing a very damn good job of it too. When he found out that his wife had died, the acting from him, it really, really got to me, because I feel like how would I as an actor try to convey that feeling? And I don't even know how to do it, but he did a really great job of it. But anyway, so at the beginning of the movie, there's different cuts between the funeral, the birth at the hospital, and the reception after the funeral itself. And at the repast, which I found out it's called, Kevin Hart is approached by a couple of his friends, and they're trying to make him feel better and trying to either make light of things or, just trying to like bring him up and build him up. And he's telling them like, I can't do this, and I just cannot do this right now. And no matter what he says, they just continue, and he says, you're not listening. I can't do this right now. And that was very, very moving for me. Like, if you're in that position where it's just so difficult for you, there's nothing you can say, and unless you flip out and make a scene, there's nothing you can really say. And I'm sure you'd be forgiven for that, but still. And I think that he conveyed the somber grieving in a really great way. But the I can't do this and you're not listening really, really spoke to me. And then it cuts to earlier on when they're actually like doing the C-section, and they're showing when his wife was cut open, the baby was out, and Kevin Hart I don't know if Kevin Hart has kids, but I imagine he does. But when they took the baby out and he kind of took a peek and saw the child, that is what I can only describe as the feeling. It's a feeling of love at first sight. When you see your child for the very first time, that's when it was for me. When I was talking to Andre, it was when he felt the baby kick for the very first time. But for me, when I saw my child for the very first time, it was like something I cannot describe. And I don't think that anybody can ever know what I'm talking about until you experience it for yourself. But the best I can do is love at first sight, where I would burn cities for you. And Kevin Hart did a really, really good job. He mixed a little bit of excitement into there, whereas me, I was a little bit more emotional. but that was really good. So shortly after the funeral and everything, back at the house, when both his mom and his mother-in-law are at the house helping him take care of the baby, the moms had decided that he should move back to their hometown. And he said, I'll think about it. And then he came back immediately and said, you know what, I thought about it. No, you're right. I can't do this. I can't raise this child on my own. But I'm fucking gonna do it on my own. Because that is my kid. And I had such mad respect for the guy in real life that the story is based off of. Because if that scene actually happened, and I feel like it probably did, mad respect, because that's a daunting task, and especially as a dad where you don't know what the hell you're doing, that's awesome. A little while later, there was a scene with Kevin Hart and his father-in-law, where his father-in-law says something that was pretty poignant. He goes, we as men, we try to control everything, but we just can't. So you gotta have to let it go and go with the flow. And that really spoke to me. And I am very much so the person that has to control everything, has to know what's going to happen, and be in control of the situation. That's always how I am. And I can't help it. That's just who I am. The scene where he is talking to his mom in the park, and he's so frustrated at trying to close the car seat. I have been there so many times with the same exact goddamn car seat because it's been so long since I've closed it before myself. I thought that was so funny, but also so relatable because we've had the same car seat for 3.5, 4 years, and I've closed it, opened it several times, and like 3 days ago, I tried to close it again and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just throw the goddamn thing in the back of the car. But I do like how it showed his frustration again. It was getting to him. Like, I can't do this. And then his mom's like, it's easy. Just do what's best for the child. And it kind of resonated like what Andre was talking about. Just do what's best for the kid. And that's all you got to do, and you're good. Then they had this whole shtick of, the late nights and the baby won't stop crying and you're absolutely miserable. And I mean, I'm there every couple of days, so I get it. But when he went to the new parent support group, and it was a bunch of women with their babies, and they were talking about things, and it was a safe space for them to talk about things, and I was so like not offended, but like I was so hurt that this guy who just genuinely needed help, and he went to these moms. He didn't know it was moms. He saw it was parents, but he thought that it was parents that could help him because he was just at his wit's end. Like, how far along do you have to be to say, I need to go to the support group because I have no idea what else to do to get the baby to stop crying. I'm done. I need to find anything I can. Like how desperate are you to go to that length? Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, I would reach out to family and friends, but if they couldn't do anything, like, sure, I'm going to go anywhere I can. But then they were so like, no, this is a lady space. And he's like, no, fuck you. This is a space for parents. I'm a parent. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And I like that they kind of saw, oh shit, okay, he's doing this on his own. Let's try and help him out. And I really like that. It turned from like judgy moms to, okay, he's just a parent. Let's try and help him out. He doesn't know what he's doing. I've been there before. Let's try and help him out. So that made me sympathize with that whole situation. And then he went out for the very first time. He got a babysitter, and he went out with his friends, and he didn't want to like look at all the girls like his friend was trying to get him to do because he missed his wife, and I could completely relate to that. I don't think I could ever look at another woman after, if Steph was gone. I would never be able to look at another woman. Maybe ever. I don't know. And then there was this feeling that I got from him that I felt myself several times before, that you feel very guilty about being out while your kids are at home. You feel guilty that you're out having fun and you're not with them. And it's not fair to you because you should allow yourself to go out and have fun. It's not always just about you being home. I've been there before myself where Steph and I go out for a date night and we're just talking about the kids. And then I feel bad that we're not at home with the kids. Even though they're sleeping probably, you feel that sense of guilt that you're not there with them and that you're letting some person, whether it's a family friend or a stranger or whomever, somebody else watch your kids. It's a weird feeling. A little later on in the movie, the mother-in-law comes for a doctor visit, and as she's leaving, she's decided to baptize the daughter, Kevin Hart's daughter, without his consent, without ever talking to him about it, which I think is the most batshit thing ever, because if that was me, I would say, no, who the fuck are you to decide the religious upbringing of my daughter? Like, absolutely not. I thought that was so insane that somebody would say, no, this is what your daughter is doing. This is the date. It's already set. Make sure that she's there. I was like, what the fuck? How dare you? That was horrible. So I have a lot more notes for the rest of the movie, but I'm getting to the point where I A, either can't read, or B, my writing is just so bad that it's not that great. But I do want to say that it was a very good movie for fathers, parents, what have you. I really, really dug this movie. It hit on a lot of cylinders. If you're a parent, you would dig it. It kind of gives you some kind of insight as to what it's like to be a solo parent. Sometimes there's a parent at work and the other parent has to take care of everything. So you're doing everything on your own. There's no backup. So you got to figure out how to do everything on your own. And it's really difficult, and how to adjust to regular life, like trying to date again and trying to make your own personal life mingle with your parental life. It's really hard, and it hits on a lot of different things. So I would highly recommend checking this movie out. It's not terribly long. It's not overly funny, but I don't think it's meant to be. It's meant to do exactly what it does, and I think it does a great job at it. So that's pretty much it for today's episode. If you have any suggestions, input, I already sent the email out there, so let us know. But for tonight, that's it. Later.
Good night, Daddy.
Good night, baby.